and Gatherence with the indigenous, the prominent Professor Johnson and A. Chapman, all the way from Hertfordshire Constabulary. How you doing, buddy?
Very well, my brother. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. The weather is kicking in nice. Having a bit of sun at long last. How's the
Yeah,
weather?
we had some nice sun today.
Yeah, you said you had a bit of a nice warm weather today as well. Which
Yeah,
is,
absolutely. It's been beautiful.
yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah. So I was looking at the media today. More stabbing, more victims, more idiots causing provocation of men's rehabilitations, picking up weapons, using a knife. How can we stop this scrutiny to our unity?
Ban
Always,
knives.
yeah, nice, more knife crime. It's getting beyond ridiculous, mate, isn't it? How can we educate the youth of today and young adults? Apart from singing a good story on Melon, trying to reach out to the young offenders out there to say, don't pick up knives, don't be an idiot. Cowards carry weapons.
Yeah,
There's ways and means to go about things. I think there's a fisticuff as well in Harlow today. Which it's more of an amicable way about going about your business, but it's still a crime and it's still GBH. But it's probably, if you're gonna feel the need to hurt someone, that's probably the best way, isn't it? Fisticuff out the way we used to do things in the old days. Unfortunately, people get a bit above their station and think they can pick up these blades and kill.
yeah,
Crazy. I think like we were saying before, alcoholism and narcotics is probably the worst. The worst case of it, isn't it? And that makes them go a bit mental, doesn't it? And so go a bit lunatic asylum. That's where they need to
yeah.
go.
100%. It's getting out of control. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I was looking at another. We're England, UK are pulling out of funding the the UniChef thing, where we help we help with the UniChef. The poor children in places like Haiti and all the foreign countries that have got low economic finance. So we're pulling out of. We used to pay £40 million a year. I think we're paying only 15 million. We're cutting back our losses because of the pandemic. It's put a public austerity on all of us, I think. So they're making a few cuts back, which is unfortunate really, because like we say, the International Bill of Rights, we should treat everyone with equality and a fair crack at the whip, especially the poor countries. They should take the money off China, like we were saying the other day, Beijing, and maybe support the poor countries a bit more.
Absolutely. But the thing is, we need help here more, don't we? Really, out.
Yeah,
Before we're sending all this money abroad, we really do need the help here.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, I can see your message coming now in the old chat box. Nice one, nice one for that. Let
No
me
worries.
just. We're going to get this up and running, mate. This is going to be great on this Melon app. We can get, like you say, maybe get a couple of your friends on. I'll get a couple of my friends on. See, what other things are causing the problem in their community as well. I mean, when I was in Hatfield, I can remember we taking in the 5 grown men off the town, the town centre, the precinct bit where the chip
Yeah,
shop and the 5 blokes there in the afternoon drinking when kids come out of school, which is I think is a problem. Really, kids don't need to see adults, getting getting out of hand drinking. It's unfair, really. Children coming out of school and there's adults sitting in town saying effing and blinding.
oh, sorry, mate. I had that there.
There's places to go in there with a drink. There's, not over the park, in their own garden or in a beer garden. Shouldn't be in a town centre. But and then again, it's the police's job to patrol the, especially the town centre. They should be doing that anyway, clearing them off the street themselves. But
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you can remember working in the shelter. When that shutter went down, it was almost like especially on a Friday night, we'd be sitting out there, having a cup of tea and a smoke, and all these like drunk people would be going past. They've been in the pub all night, and
yeah,
they get out, and you'll find that people, when they've had a lot to drink, a lot of alcohol, they start getting aggressive to sort of like normal people that are walking by. I mean, I was on the phone down an alley on a Friday night, and these lads just walking down the alley. So I got to the end, and I could hear
yeah,
them, and I was on the phone to me mother, and I was just chatting normal conversation, and they was repeating my conversation, and you know, I thought, oh, something's going to go here, and there's quite a lot of them, but I just walked past them, and I thought, you know, the best thing is not to feed them with um, uh, what's the word? You don't. But if they're trying to antagonize you, don't feed them with, don't even have eye contact with them. As soon as you get an eye contact, you're drawn into confrontation.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's getting really ridiculous out there. It's the violence is everywhere. It's in every town, every city,
yeah,
and then I just don't think, they need to do something to, I don't know. What can they do? I mean, probably the best thing ever would be to ban alcohol. Get
yeah,
it on
yeah,
get it on prescription until you're weaned off of it. It's an evil drug. It really is.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's just trouble is off license. I sell their alcohol to anyone, don't they? If they're paralytic or what, they don't care as long as they're getting their money for their shop. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but
I think
I,
if you go in a off license paralytic, they just want to let you get your drink and get out of the shop. I think anyway, don't they? That's the trouble.
mm. Can you remember when the European football was in Holland, and they done the experiment? They had a game where they were selling alcohol,
Yeah.
and they had a game where there was just the lads were going in the marijuana bars or the spliff bars,
Oh,
and there was no alcohol sold. But they showed a picture of the area when they was all watching the football after having a few tokes of whatever in the happy calves, and
yeah.
then you could see the game. It was no one was really singing. It was really quiet. Everyone was chilled. Then they showed the other game where everyone was drinking alcohol, and the whole area was smashed up. So you've
No.
got to say, you've got to say the marijuana industry, like the cafes in
Yeah.
Amsterdam, and that, I'd rather be around people that are smoking than and
Yeah.
drinking copious amounts of alcohol.
I mean, I
People,
wouldn't say like a lot of people say England one of the worst countries, but I don't. You look at the Lithuanians. I mean, Russians drink quite a fair bit, don't they? As well, it's quite a lot of.
a lot of vodka.
Yeah, a lot of these countries get out of hand, don't they? Polish, they're
I
bad
think
drink.
that was more in the Cold War, the vodka phase, because after the Cold War they had nothing to do, so the soldiers ended up just drinking. But
Yeah,
it's changed now. It's phased out. It's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, people are weaned off of that. It's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, when they have their Remembrance Day, they
yeah,
have they have they bring all the pictures of the dead soldiers that fought in World War Two, and they all come out together as about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 million people, all holding pictures of their relatives. Well,
yeah.
what do we do here? Just the soldiers mark down. Just the
I mean,
soldiers mark down.
British
That's all
Army,
it is.
mate, that's what they do. They go and jolly up rather than training. I think when I used to train, as you know, for boxing, I used to go down the army barracks, and a lot of them were unfit, but they've gone out on the weekend and stuff, So there is alcohol, like you say, in these army barracks and whatever else. It's just alcohol. Like alcohol is one of the worst. It is one of the worst problems in the world, isn't it? That's what's
Uh,
causing a lot of these provocations all the time, and conflict with the police and
Well,
whatever.
a lot of it is fueled with alcohol, but then a lot of it is like, drug problem. Like, someone hasn't paid the dealer the money, so what do? They go after them, and if they don't pay, they chiv them or shoot them up.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know.
with drugs, it usually comes alcohol behind it, doesn't it? It's like they're like the two together, ain't they? The worst concoction together. It's like,
Well, yeah, you don't mix. It's like anything, you never mix the two. Where a lot of people, they like mixing everything. They get like pretty much like hammered on everything they take, and they mix it together.
yeah,
But
yeah,
not saying that everyone is violent like that.
yeah,
They can be violent, but
yeah,
the ones that go out on a Friday night, they are looking for it. It's like when I used to go to football. I used to go in the pub. It was all full of, it's like the home supporters, and
yeah,
then when the away supporters would come along, everyone would run out the pub and attack them.
Yeah,
It's just English culture. It's just part of, it's just like hate everyone and fight everyone. It's,
yeah,
but together when they're not drinking and at the football match or at the pub, they're just normal people. It's as soon
yeah,
as
yeah.
you put that in them, they become. Then it's like the smokers. I always used to, when I stopped smoking. When I stopped smoking, I used to smoke a bit of marijuana. I'll be honest. I'm honest about everything.
Been to a
But
couple of games, and I know you see the Green Street and all that, and I was almost part of that circle at some stages, being in going to football games. But what am I doing? I hadn't been to a couple of games. Luckily, I've never been a massive football fanatic, although I played it. But yeah, I've got in them drinking circles in there. In there, what's it called? Is it Chelsea Headhunters pub? I've been in there, and oh mate,
I've been into the shed when it was all standing. That was chaotic, and my friend took me there. He was Chelsea support. I was West Ham, and we was waiting in this shop, and he was saying it was a great day. We was going to Chelsea West Ham. It was at Chelsea, and I always remember standing in this shop front with him, and he was going, "He's Chelsea, he's West Ham." He says, "Right by the shed end, he's Chelsea, he's West Ham, he's Chelsea." They all just steamed into one another. We just watched it. We didn't get involved, but we could have easily gone steaming in there and had a good punch up. But I've been involved where I've had to throw a few fists out, because they're like, there's like dozens and dozens of fists like are coming at us, and you're like the chicken run at West Ham. I remember being punched in the face about 10 times.
When you sit back and think about it, they're not even fighting over a football match, are they? They're not. They're just fighting for the sake of being on the opposite sporting team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tribalism. That's where it takes us to. It takes us to tribalism, where men like to fight another tribe, and football is the place to do it.
Yeah, and even just fighting over the football result. I mean, say Chelsea lost against Sunderland 3-2, and then all the Chelsea supporters come beat all the Sunderland fans after. You're not winning anything for the team, are you? Beating them up, and then you go and think, I could be done for GBH anymore, and I could have, took someone's life, done for.
But they don't care because they're so full of alcohol. It leads them to not care, so they get stuck in. I mean, I used to go there in the 80s, West Ham.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that Carlton Leach?
Yeah.
Well, I remember going into the West Ham north, like our North Bank, how sort of, well, it was, there's two ends, and I was in the West Ham end, and that Carlton Leach was standing there, and there was just a massive section all separated from him. They wouldn't go nowhere near him. That's the West Ham supporters. They stay away, And Carlton Leach was a biggish bloke. He wasn't huge, but there was two. I think like two black dudes, massive. They must have been about 6'8", the pair of them. I mean, I'm 6'4". These guys were humongous, and they was literally standing next to Carlton Leach, and the West Ham fans were like giving them space. It just shows what those guys used to go up Manchester and fight on the motorway.
Yeah.
Stop the coaches when the traffic is stopping the coaches. They go and smash the coaches so all the fans get out and then fight them. Amazing, just crazy.
Drinking drug fuel, don't it? You guarantee they're
absolutely
sober, clear cut.
They wouldn't do it. That's what I'm saying. If you can take away the drugs and drink, but then you take it away from the people that enjoy it, that aren't causing trouble to anyone.
Yeah, you put them in a boxing ring next, someone can hold their hands, and when they're sober, mate, they won't turn up.
You're going back to them old days again.
It's true though. Most of humanity is the same though. They all have a fight when they talk good fight when they've had a drink and a line of
absolutely. Yeah.
But when it comes down to the crunch, you're standing in the ring sober against another man that's been trained just as hard as you, they wouldn't turn up.
Well, that's right. You're a tough guy until you meet one.
Yeah. A lot of them. I mean, I've had people, I was in Hatfield, I had people drunk come up to me thinking, I think, mate, if you come up to me when we're sober and then we go over the field, your bumhole would go, No, I didn't get to that. I'd tell them if I did get to that. But that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the crunch. They ain't got no arsehole.
Well, that's right. I'm a sort of bloke that won't. If I'm with say 3 or 4 guys and we're getting a punch up, I won't. I'm not the sort of guy that'll run away. I'll stick there. I mean, with or without alcohol. If I see my friends getting hurt, then I'll help them. You know, I'm not a sort of
Yeah,
guy to run away and let my pals get. You know,
yeah,
I'll help them. If
fine.
I see one of my pals now, like Bazza, I'm just talking the people you know that were
Yeah, yeah,
in the shelter. Just Bazza was sitting there one day. Or I know the drinks banned from the town, but he was sitting there, and this young lad come along with his girlfriend, and Bazza's 70, minding his own business, not hurting no one, and this kid come along and literally kicked his can, and then Baz, you know what Baz is like, just
yeah, yeah.
shrugged it off. But it's wrong. I wouldn't do that to a 70-year-old in my day when I was that age. There's more respect then. There's no respect now. It's like, back then it's just, leaving the war culture alone. It just seems like we love that culture, the old boys. But when you see old people getting old now, there
Yeah.
is no respect from the youngsters. And that's why society is breaking down at every level, because
Should,
there isn't the respect there.
should we give a shout out to a few, communities that we've been involved in, like Resolve, Open Heaven Church as well. They took me in. They're nice people, Nigerian people, lovely, lovely family. Got a good, every single one of them, very, very kind and caring. Took me in. I'm English Christian. They're all Nigerian Christians. Like I said before, just because they're different culture, different nationality, different skin color, we're all the same show at the end of the day. When we die,
We all bleed, and we're all going out the bottom end. It's
yeah, they're lovely.
skin colour is irrelevant. So
Yeah,
was that place? Was that the one on the roundabout? The ones that took you in Hatfield?
yeah. The one I was up North Down Road, wasn't I? It's up Bishop's Rise, up just behind in front of them shops, up Bishop's Rise, with a
Yeah.
coal, with a coal, and they had a chip
I
shop there, kebab shop.
I think I know. But
Yeah,
can I say something though? I do. I mean, when I see people walking in the town, like people that have been in Hatfield all their life, they're walking in the town and they try and say hello to people, and a lot of people now just don't talk to one another. They don't acknowledge people, and
yeah.
I
I
think
think,
I'm not fascist by a long shot. I mean, people have lost the real meaning of fascist. The fascism was back in World War II, when Germany was in. But with the integration, what's happened? It's happened so fast that they are strangers to us.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? See, this is really important subject I want to touch on. So when I was really young, just left school, there
yeah,
was the first black family in Hatfield was the White family. It was Attlee White. Then along a guy called Everton come along. His nickname was Chippy. We used to play darts. He used to play darts with my mum.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they're dead now. But when they were alive, they were saying these foreigners that are coming in, and they was coming in from the Caribbean back in the 70s and 80s. But they said the same. The integrations happened way too fast.
yeah, yeah.
It's like they've come in, they've got their own clique, they all join together. But
Yeah,
us on the outside, it's like we are like aliens to them.
yeah, yeah.
They don't even try and talk. It's
World
like
War
they
One.
look at me,
Yeah,
they
the World
see a
War
big
One. Go on. Yeah, I was saying
they
World
see
War One. Go on. Go on, you go first.
they see a big old bloke with a beard, a big old white man with a beard.
Yeah, yeah,
He's 6'4" and built quite biggish. Not like, I wouldn't say a brick shit house, but
yeah,
they might see me as menacing or something like that. And maybe but it's the same all over. It's not just the size of it. It's just they don't really want to integrate with us,
yeah.
and that's a sad thing. It's like, you just look at it down the town. I mean, the guy you used to do a little bit for in the chip shop. What's his name?
Serkan.
Sircam. See, Sircam is amazing. He's got the art of integration. I think is he Turkish? Sircam.
So
Hello,
World
mate.
War One, yeah. So what World War One and Two is where integration come into place. We had 2.5 million Muslims in first World War One. That gave them their right to then, integrate with us because they helped us in the World War. Now I think that is one of the major prospects that got them in here in the first place. They helped us.
It's a massive shout out to anybody that helped defeat fascism, real
Yeah,
fascism.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, Hitler's mob never liked your skin
yeah.
color. He
No,
never liked
you got
anything about if you was different. I mean, even if you was disabled, he wouldn't like. You've got to be outbred.
you got
Because you're disabled, you've got to be killed.
yeah,
And so,
the
if
great
I'd have been around, would I have survived or would I have been killed? With my disabilities now. But back then, I see myself as a really fit person, holding down a good job. Steel manufacturer, um, big old earth moving equipment.
you got to look at the people that
But
change the way.
But
So
that's what Hitler wanted. He wanted a load of people that were contributing to community that had something, not just
yeah.
that. He didn't like that segregation.
Mm.
You see, I don't mind that. It's like if they want to get on with it, they get on with it here. I'm not going to say anything. It's like I think it's great that people are coming to this country and building their own lives up. But yeah, it's even me when I go past the African shop with all the food I look in there, I think I'd like to go in there and buy something from them. But it's not very welcoming.
I do because obviously my bloodline don't bother me. I just go in there, I'm mingling. I tell them about my my ancestors and how I got here. I think you've got how I look at it. You've got to look at the greats that made it all right. Look at Malcolm X. You got Nelson Mandela. They're the ones that made xenophobia, fascism.
Martin Luther King.
All the greats that made it all just equal. You think?
I'm not saying it's like when I say it's the integration. It's not failing. It's just when the first lot came in, the first lot of good guys that I mixed with when I was younger.
Yeah.
They were my pals. I could go out drinking. There's a guy Anthony, which is Chippy's brother.
Yeah.
The first black families. There's 2 or 3 or 4, and me and him used to go out. We'd have a drink.
Yeah.
It's just now. It just seems maybe it's me.
It'd be harder for me.
Outgrowing it. Maybe I'm outgrowing sort of integrating with people, and I've had enough of like integrating.
It's our age as well. Once you get older, we look up like the fashion type. The ones that probably were a bit fascist. The older generation probably were a bit fascist because of the segregation. But that's because we're getting older ourselves. They're going to look at us the same. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it came back. I mean, it came back in not that long ago. Look at the British National Party. How many seats they won in Europe, and they got. I mean, they got 500,000 votes here, 500,000 votes. So if proportional representation was in place here, which is not, it's first past the post, but if PR was in place, then those 500 fascists would have had 30 seats in Parliament.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they don't have proportional representation. So fascists won't get into the Houses of Parliament. That's a very important point here. There's a lot of fascists left in this country. They're still around. It's festering. In America, it's just humongous. So when Donald Trump got in, there were guys sea-kiling. I mean, I've got the video of them. Literally when he was doing his speech, they were doing that's the thing when they throw their hand up that Hitler used to do, and that's in America. So it hasn't gone away. It's fascism is real. Fascism is still with us.
What do you think this country lacks? I think lacks of mental health support. Don't you? They say in black and white.
Sorry, my brother. What's that? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What do you think this country lacks? I think it lacks helping mental health, supporting people. Look how many suicides there is, suicide deaths. I mean, you ring up doctors, I'm suffering depression, it's obviously mental health problems for whatever reason, alienated father, or getting bullied at work, or split up with an ex-girlfriend, or, the girlfriend split up with a boyfriend. It's lack of support. All they do, like I said the other day, they give you a few numbers, like you can ring. There's numbers. I can tell you they are. You've got call Samaritans. They give you all that's all they give you. They give you Essex County Council number, ask for help, National Domestic Abuse Helpline, National Citizens Advice Helpline. They don't give you no physical help. Because you bring their numbers up, they don't give you no physical help either. So I mean, what help is there for physically to help you on a straight and narrow once you have a bit of a fallback in life? There ain't no help, is there? There's not a lot of support. I mean, obviously, I've had my everyone's had their bad one up and downs in life. I mean, I had mine in 2018, and I found myself get myself in university, but that's good. No, I'm doing that's not through support. It wasn't for anyone to support me get there. Obviously, they've got adult learning courses to go and do, but it's down to you to be that thick-skinned and try and block everything out to get yourself in that position. No one points you in that right direction, do they?
Well, I was very despondent with sort of the mental health work, because when I sort of tried to go there, it's
Yeah,
like when they knew that I was seeking help, there
yeah,
was I remember the psychiatrist. He came to my house where I was living, and
yeah,
that's why I stopped going over there, because he'd come to my house, and years ago I'd built me and my friend.
yeah,
I'd built a log cabin, just because we like having fires in the garden. So we built this log cabin out of old garden sheds,
yeah, yeah,
and it was at an angle. There was two sides, a
yeah,
front that you could close and put your logs in, but it was at an angle, like like that. And
yeah,
it this guy came to the house and he put it in a book. It was in the notes. So when I went over there,
yeah,
someone else had reported back that they said that I built a bomb shelter in the garden, a bomb shelter. so, so I said, well, no, it's a log cabin. I mean, so I left the place, and I said to them, I said, well, I'm not gonna go along with people that don't tell the truth.
yeah,
They put
yeah,
a load of. That's what I'm saying. The old psychiatrists were very English.
yeah,
There's a guy called Dr. Hawley in Hertfordshire. He's very, very good at what he does. But the
yeah.
new ones come along and they don't understand our culture. I mean, spreading lies by saying I've got a bomb shelter in my garden. It's like it was a log cabin. So there's fake news. It's fake. It's already spreading fake information about me. So I
Yeah,
thought, no, I'm not going to go over there. So I'm not going to carry on this. So I cracked on. I did all my court cases that were against me on my own. I had no support. Yet we scream equality, but we don't practice it. I think there should be a system where when you're at court and someone's trying to take everything off you, there should be some support, and they
yeah.
don't put you at a loss.
Let's do a
But
few QAs, eh? Let's try a few QAs. I'm gonna try some on you. If you was a next Richard Branson, say you fell, your ancestors said, "Hey, I've got 60 billion pounds here." What communities, or what foundations would you like to build up or support? If you had, 60 billion pounds, you got so much money to live on, you don't get to spend it yourself. You need to give some away. What communities would you like to help? What foundations? If it's like, I don't know, put cancer, cancer treatment, or children in need or something. What foundations would you like to support?
it would be definitely into more research into cancer. Um, Maybe medicine that suppresses it
Yeah,
and it can't come out. Blocking the cancer cell.
yeah,
That sort of research, like cell genesis. My friend worked in cancer research on cells, blood cells,
yeah,
and how they literally leach onto cancerous ones.
yeah,
I'd put the money into that. I'd put a lot into the homeless situation. Uh, there's a lot of charities, the support of the dying with cancer. I'd give them a little bit more sort of support for the families.
yeah,
You know, these places are quite good, like the Mary Curry Centre over Welling Garden City. You can stay there. I
yeah,
stayed there when my uncle was dying, so I was with him all the time.
yeah,
Um, I would put money into more into youth centres, so
yeah,
the youth have got a lot to do. I'd have studios for them, and those that are involved in gang culture, knife crime, etc., they would be banned from it. They wouldn't even be allowed in.
yeah.
If,
They're usually the
if
no
the
good.
word
They're usually no good doers at school, and they're usually the dropouts that end up gang members, and they kept their parents ain't right about them going to school, and that could be down to marriage breakdown, can't it, as well? Like mum and dad split up, kids ain't, the father ain't there for the kid, and the kid's broken. This could be anything. Could be anything why these kids go into these gangs.
you've touched the nail on the head. The guys that do turn to that have
Yeah,
got not enough support. I mean, if they're going through some of the stuff I've gone through. I'd
Yeah,
like to put it into helping people in court.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
our legal system's gone to hell. It really has. So I'd
yeah,
really like to put it in, into lawyers helping people have fair trials and fair cases. Where I had an absolutely unfair trial, an unfair case. I didn't have no. It's known as equality of arms,
yeah.
and I
Legal aid's gone right in the water. Every male that's going to fight for their children, taking their ex-partner, if it's their wife or girlfriend, or if it's the other way around. But you want to find that DNA. Every man has a right to find that DNA. If they're going to start,
absolutely.
if they
Are
want
you
to
are you are you
comment,
familiar with equality of arms? Are you
quality,
familiar with
I haven't heard of.
unfair trials and stuff?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah,
So I'd put a lot into that. I would probably put half of the money into that if I
yeah,
had
yeah,
that sort of money.
yeah,
Where the money is just going on stupid stuff at the moment. It's going for backroom deals in the
mm,
Conservatives. They're getting all these national health contracts.
yeah.
Um,
The
there's
courts.
no support for people that are trying to get to court. The
Yeah,
legal aid system's gone. I'd put a massive chunk into helping people.
yeah.
Fight their cases, have fair trials, because
You're right to a
we've
court
we,
when
we've
you want.
gone back we've gone back 30 years, Professor.
Yeah, yeah,
We've gone back 30 years in time.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
where we
yeah,
are. So it just seems society evolves to a certain level,
yeah,
and then it's a fight between the left and the right.
yeah,
Usually the right saves money, the left spends it.
yeah.
Well, the left spends it on
Oh,
stuff that really is not relevant.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
there's a lot of it that's relevant,
yeah,
and the right spends it taking stuff away. Well, it
yeah,
needs to be spent on the relevant stuff that's needed.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've been. I mean, I don't want to keep, saying I've been narcissistic, but I've written to the court myself. I've asked for, for Section 7, Section 8, Section 37, and a DNA report, which it should have to happen. If I want to be a father, a proper father, blood father, I want to start paying CSA. I need to start having. I need something to wake up in the morning to and think I need to better myself to, support my family. But I need to know if I've got, I need to know if I've got obviously got my mum and dad, but I need to know if I've got my children, because it gives you something to fight for, doesn't it? I want to know if they're mine. Makes me want to go further in my education. Don't make me want to be a dropout, if you know what I mean. You know?
You're on the cusp of keeping it together. I'm
Yeah,
proud of you. I'm very proud of you because I've been through what you've gone through. But
yeah,
back then there was a hell of a lot more support in the family courts, access
yeah,
to rights for men.
yeah,
But it does seem now it's all in the woman's favour.
yeah,
And women, if there's any vulnerability in the system, women
yeah,
and babies and children are at the top.
yeah, yeah,
We come underneath.
yeah,
It's been like that, and it will never change. Women will always have, unless they're bad mothers, then
yeah,
you know services will take the children away. But
yeah,
and again, more support there for um, parents that are suffering.
yeah,
Maybe I know it's a soft subject, it's a touchy subject, but
yeah,
parents that are suffering addiction, more support there.
yeah.
They're not bad people. They're just suffering addiction.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
I've watched that. People that parents that have got children and taking the children on, and I'm not saying mine's or anyone's instant, but if me or you, for instance, didn't have the children, and then the ex-girlfriend did, or wife or whatever, they're the one with addiction. They should then have let the kids go to the father, me or you, for perhaps let the other half clean herself up and say, look, you're not going to see children again until you're cleaned up. That's what they should
yeah,
do.
but then when does the children go? It's almost like if the father's not ready, if the father's in a battled state, then
Yeah,
that
if,
who is it? Are they
if,
safe? Are they safe?
but they,
Are they safe? Are they safe at a certain place in life? It's like
they got
where
to do.
they're being.
Ain't they? They got to do a doctor report. Who takes narcotics? Who drinks? Who don't? Which one that don't should get the children automatically.
But that's not the way, though. That's not the way it's happening. I mean, your case has proved that, hasn't it? That
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know.
you know you can't bring that forward. That's
Talking about in fact, it's parliaments, especially. This is parliaments, the ideology of the world. Therefore, they should think about the ideology of the healthy parent, where the kids are going to be more reluctant to in better education, more success with a clean living parent.
yeah. But
Responsibility.
how do you regulate that? It's almost like, unless you've got the evidence of
Well,
the parent being a bad parent,
it's like
you
looking
know.
at but no, you got Jekyll and Hyde, and you got an evangelist. Who you can let the child go to, Jekyll and Hyde or the evangelist? That's what this is what it's boiling down to, isn't it? You got fathers that are preaching good news every day, going to church, doing this and that. Then you got, say, mothers, for instance, or vice versa. Mothers, for instance, going down the pub, sticking a couple of sherbets up their nostrils, going back home, then driving the kids home in the back of the car. Or the fathers that shooting up foot, the fathers doing that. They need to stick the kids with the evangelist, the Jekyll and Hyde. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's proving that, though. It's proving that they're Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, okay, you can show that you're a good person, you're a church-going person, but does that necessarily give them the the green ticket or whatever? Oh yeah, just because that person's just because they're just because they're an evangelist, it doesn't mean they're a good person. Behind closed doors, they could be the Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think this is where the law's too soft. They think that, they automatically think like that already. But do you know what I mean? You've got a case where the kids have been taken off. I'm not saying this is my situation. I'm not saying that, because obviously, again, it's like I'm being narcissistic in a roundabout way. But you got a father. Say, we're going to say me, for instance. If people are watching and they think I'm on about my situation, ball for them, but I'm gonna say it in this situation. So, like, you got me. I wouldn't walk into a pub. Don't like the smell of it. Don't like the smell of alcohol. I don't like being around a conversation of people being pissed. Then it full stop. And then you got mother that will take the kids onto a pub, yeah, and go on holiday and sit in an all inclusive holiday where everyone gets pissed on holiday. Or you got a father that will go to a nice. If I did go on holiday, take my kids to a villa, out of the way of all our alcoholic drinkers, out of the way of any possibility of people getting thrown in the pool, i.e. my children, or adults getting thrown in the pool onto my children. What's then, do you know what I mean? You see where I'm coming from? The safety factor.
Absolutely. Look, then it's back to pushing for legislation to get alcohol, prescribe alcohol. If you are a bad parent, you've got to get a prescription for your alcohol, and then it's monitored. It's like every medicine monitored. When the doctor gives you any medicine, they'll see you in a week's time, and you'll report back if it's working or not.
If either of you had kids taken off you, they should be watching the adults to see if they're going into these places, in these pubs, in these clubs, on these holidays, or inclusive holidays where alcohol's served. They should be, they should report this back to the court. They don't. They turn a blind eye to it, and this is why a lot of fuckers are getting away with. A lot of kids out there, like they call out child protection, but then they're seen on a holiday, and these all inclusive holidays, all other kids as well, with their parents, while they're drinking around the pool. No care in the world of where the kids are going to fall in, or I've been part and parcel of that, of that circle. I've seen other families in the same circle. It should be watched on. It should be called upon as well. It should be called upon.
Unless the parents are physically harming, then there's no need to have any alarm bells.
I can't remember my childhood being around, a lot of pissheads on holiday and that. I can never remember my childhood, my mum and dad getting smashed off their face while I was swinging around the pool, with both adults getting around. My kids have been part of that circle.
See, I can't relate to that, because when my parents brought us up, every year they obviously lost a lot of money by giving us good holidays. So I respect that. So I've never around that. I mean, my dad never drunk, my mum never drunk, only at Christmas. And I I never saw any bad parenting. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know, maybe put money into researching that. You know, just maybe DNA, maybe swab tests are needed for every parent.
A lot too many accidents happen with children, and that's what I'm getting at. You know, I'm not just saying for my instance, but there is so many accidents we see. Oh, kids been drowned in a pool or drowned in a lake, or you know, where adults ain't taking responsibilities. And you know, and they need to do something about it, because especially these all-inclusive holidays, the hotel should automatically report adults not being adults with their children.
Well,
Well,
if you see that, anybody would get concerned,
yeah.
wouldn't they? I mean,
Oh,
every caring person that I ever know, if they saw, you know, bad parenting,
mate, I see
you
some
know,
terrible parenting, mate. Really bad. I was in Marmaris on my honeymoon. We didn't have a kids, me and my wife at the time. We was on a honeymoon, right? There's a big fire caught ablaze in that. Look, I told you before, Pinita Park Deluxe. I think it's 2017 or 18 in July in Marmaris. The fire and the whole hotel caught on fire. I was talking to this coloured fella and his wife the day before. They said, "Oh, we're going out tonight." The night the fire happened, and he let his eldest boy, that was about 11, look after their daughter, which was about 6. When the fire kicked off, everyone got out of their hotel room, but that little boy and that little girl. And I thought the whole house, and I got them out. I was the last one out of the hotel. Made sure I got them out. I couldn't remember which room they was in, but banged on every door. I was the last one out, and there's about 40 people got rushed to hospital, carbon dioxide, you know, breathing it in.
poisoning. Yeah, poisoning.
I was the last one out of the building. Luckily, I've got, you know, I'm fit as I am. Luckily I didn't get it. I got in kids out. They had got rushed off to hospital because they're, you know, young and they've got lungs. You know, their lungs ain't as strong as mine. But you know, even older people younger than me will get a little bit younger than me were getting sent to hospital poisoning. Luckily, I think I was a bit fumigated the next day. I was a bit daisy, but I was all right.
Where was their parents?
Their parents went out. That's what I'm saying. It's like after seeing what happened to Madeline, you know, the kids going missing. You wouldn't think parents after them would leave their kids on their own, would you?
No, not at all. What are you talking to Madeleine McCann?
Yeah, that was not. You know, that happened well before that, like a few years before that, didn't it? 2000 and what was it? 12 something. Can't remember.
It's all over, everywhere. I mean, you see like bad parents leaving the children. They'll go out for a night and they'll leave the kids at home. And you know, but it's only when the kids start like maybe finding a box of matches or something like that, and then there's a fire or something.
Yeah.
But you know, it's down to responsible parenting. You know, I mean, you know, I thought my ex-missus was a responsible parent, and then later on it turns out that you know she's an alcoholic. She gets drink with her ex or with her husband, is her ex now, and they'll get smashed, and then they used to ring up my granddaughter's mother, pissed,
Yeah.
literally having a go at her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when my boy was splitting up with
Yeah.
my granddaughter's mother. But
I mean, everything
yeah,
I've said, it's not about my ex. You
that's
know,
the point.
it's not about my situation or my boys. It's just like I just want to.
It's in general. It's in
Yeah.
general. I mean, alcohol is on every street corner. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you go to these holidays. It's all about having free drinks. You know, the more money you pay, you get the more drink, you get more food.
I don't think. I mean, I know she likes to drink. Everyone's entitled to one. I don't think she's never really been a big drinker. So it's not. I'm not going to put her apart not on live on radio. You know, we need. You know, we need to build our channel up and maybe hopefully help support others in need. You know, and hopefully they can go in the right direction in life. That's the aim of this thing. Not to pull people apart, but so they understand and they can shape up a better future for everyone, you know.
Shape the future. But the trouble is, it's you know, it's you've got to pinpoint alcohol.
Yeah,
You
I've
know,
got a blood condition where I can't drink alcohol, but I wouldn't drink it. I don't like it. I wouldn't drink it anyway. I don't like it. Don't like the hangover.
But you have drunk in your life, though, haven't you?
I have, yeah. But I mean, my doctor always said that'd be the death for me because of my condition. I knew I didn't like it when I was doing it. You know, it didn't ruin my boxing career because I didn't really have much of one. I was fighting a boxing career with head injuries, so I weren't really going to go far. Once I started doing Once I start doing
Fair play. If you have given up alcohol, I mean, I think it's about drinking responsibly. You
yeah,
get people that just don't drink responsibly, and that's where the problem lies.
I'm like every,
I haven't got a problem with alcohol, not at all.
you haven't got
You
a
know,
problem. You ain't got a problem with smoking. So where I smoke, I just smoke till my lungs give out. I can smoke 30, 40 a day. I
but
smoke.
all these vices are everywhere. Tobacco's in the shop, alcohol's in the shop.
Yeah, yeah.
Soon, if we follow on from America, there's going to be cannabis in the shops. I mean, they
Yeah,
tried cannabis caps in Brixton.
I hope
It's everywhere. Well, no, they will. We will catch on with America. But what would you prefer? Now, let me have a question. Let me throw a question at you. What would you prefer? Say, cannabis in shops. It's regulated. It's safe. It's not dangerous. There's nothing dodgy in it. You can go to the shop. These kids are adults, young men, young
Mm.
women. They can go to the shop and they can get their cannabis in the shop, and it's all regulated, all safe. Or would you prefer it to stay as it is? All the gangsters selling it, you know,
I, wa-
having like whatever
I,
wars and that over it. I'd no, I'd prefer the
I,
one before, not the
I
latter.
wish they could banish the drug crime full stop and even selling. I don't like cannabis. I don't like the smell of it. I don't, and the side effects of it is bad. I just don't see it. The same as alcohol. Alcohol can give you liver and kidney failure. What I drink, cannabis can give you.
That is,
Cannabis
no one's died from cannabis to this date. No one's died from it.
It sends you, we got so many nutty mental people as it is, it might bring up knife crime even more. Once it's like that in the street, and it's people, and kids think they can go and buy it, ask them think to go and buy it, it might have more schizophrenia, more metropolitan lunatic asylums on the street.
Yeah,
But
but
no,
it would be safer. But what I'm saying is, alcohol,
yeah,
is freely available. Cannabis, you have to go and buy it off the underworld, because you can't buy it in the. But in America, it's on, it's on every, what do you call them, state. Every state has got its own legislation, and almost every state is decriminalising alcohol, cannabis, and it's in many shops. You can buy it. It's safe.
yeah, yeah,
It's not full of fiberglass or stuff to make its weight up.
yeah.
And it's you get good product which is safe, and no one's gonna attack you when you buy it because it's in a sweet shop. It's sold in a shop like a sweet shop. Just
Yeah. It's hard to think this. I just think it'd bring more criminology, like driving crimes, and people crashing at the wheel, just not
It's
paying.
possible, but then again, how many people drink and drive? I see people that are totally fine on cannabis. They can't survive without it. That if they don't smoke cannabis, they can't eat. Cannabis gives them their life. It gives them their appetite. You
Maybe,
know,
maybe it's like alcohol. If they stuck to the zones they're allowed to go in a pub, in their own home or something, then perhaps maybe it's possible. But when you're in a community and there's other families and children and they're smoking it, then it ain't good, is it? Same as smoking cigarettes when your children outside is bad. I look back and I think I smoke around my niece, my cousin. I think at 5, I think, what was I doing? The young kids, I don't need to be breathing this in.
well, smoking is socially acceptable. Obviously, not around children, but you can smoke, say, 20 foot from a child, and you're not going to get nicked. Where if you smoke cannabis, you're going to get nicked. But most people smoke cannabis in the comfort of their home, and they're pretty much chilled about it.
I mean, even my
You know?
vape, I was smoking at a coffee, like with mum and dad the other day, and we didn't go over little baby. A little baby was sitting next to me, and the wind was blowing that way, and I felt, vape ain't, nowhere near as bad as cigarette, but I felt bad.
Yeah, but how do we know? How do we know? I mean, there's tests now where people are on these vapes, where all these cotton filters that you put in are going up your lung, and you know
Yeah,
it's not the wonder drug that everyone thought the vapes.
be that.
We've got to have another 15, 20 years, mate, or
Yeah,
maybe less than that, 10 years down the line to really truly know if them vapes are safe.
yeah.
You are still smoking a chemical.
Mm.
You know it's It's oil. It's oil. You're smoking an oil which is chemically made, so it's a chemical.
I feel better on it, but like you say, you ain't gonna find no you ain't gonna find no pros or cons of it till years down the line, are you? But I mean, at the minute, there ain't been much. I don't think there's been many lung failures, but it ain't been that long enough to find out. In America, I suppose it is, but they're trying. I think, in my eyes, they may be because they're tobacco growing and cigar growing place over there, and they like South America.
There has been a few people hospitalised with these vapes, you know, from them breathing them in and them exploding, you know, just catching on fire. Because it's a coil in there, isn't it, that gets hot.
Yeah, they do get hot. Yeah,
so if the switch gets stuck, the thing heats up and then explodes. The oil explodes or whatever explodes.
Yeah.
So they are dangerous. I mean, I think everything that we take has got some certain amount of danger to it. Even the foods we eat, you know, some of the foods that, you know, that have got so much fat in, cholesterol, you know, what's the word for it? Dehydrogenous fat or something? Something like that, which was banned a long time ago, but you see it in products that are coming from abroad.
You'll be smoking to like 100. You will. You don't smoke that much, do you? You don't smoke every day.
No. I have probably about 10 a day, 10 roll-ups, but it's enough to be killing me.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, you think I smoked off when I smoked like up 30 pouch back in 3 days. I didn't when I was back there.
Well, you were terrible on it. You just didn't stop smoking.
Why did it work? Why did that start smoking?
See, you've got that. I think every vice that people have got is an addiction. Yeah. See, like that there, you're addicted to that. I'm addicted to smoking. We're all addicts at the end of the day. There's a lot of people that, I'm not an addict, but if they're smoking and drinking, then they're addicted to it, whether they only do it at weekends and the smoking in the evening. They're still waiting. They're still addicted to that evening.
Yeah.
You know,
manual work is done me. And I've got secondary Raynaud's disease, and it's a pain in my legs standing up, and I end up thinking, well, I'm killing myself just trying to stand up. Well, you know, Raynaud's, I end up smoking, especially in winter. My legs are terrible, you know. I've got luckily I've got physiotherapy and that now to help me out, which is good, which is nice, you know. They've actually.
I think promoting health, you know, having a good walk, it really helps. You know,
yeah.
Walking a couple of miles a day. Yeah. Getting out. I mean, today's the first day I haven't gone out in a long time.
A bit of a walk today. Mine's weather permitting. Now, my mum and dad, they'd be the best people to speak to. I was sat outside the pub in Clapton having a cup of coffee. It's warm day like today. Well, you know, warm for normal people. I was freezing. I had a jacket on. I had a cardigan on, jumper, t-shirt, and I was freezing. My hands were freezing cold. It's weather like today, you know, like 16, 18 degrees. I was freezing.
Shall we go? I'm sorry you're suffering with it, my brother, but
you got a shop as well, ain't you?
But no. I'm just there's no hurry. It's just I'm just saying there's bound to be some, you know, medicine made that you'll be able to take for your Raynaud's.
Yeah. I mean, they give me tablets to thin my blood out, but it's the only thing is speeds you up, and it's not good for my age to taking it, not with my bloodline in the family, you know, stuff with the strokes and stuff. I've had a stroke in 2018 as well, so.
I think everything people take, there's a certain danger to it. Medicines. Yeah. I mean, whenever I get new medicines, it's is this going to make me feel like this, or like I was on some naproxen, and every time I took them, you know, it really messed with my head.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, right? I don't know if anyone is listening, they suffer with Raynaud's. All my life I've had it, and I've got in so many. I probably shouldn't say this on here. I've had so many fights because of it over the years, being out in the cold. And when I was a kid, you know, growing up playing football, I used to get in fights just because my hands in pain. I probably had about 100 fights at school just because my hands. I weren't like a normal kid. I couldn't go and do sports like normal kids, you know.
What's that anger? Was it making you angry?
It's the pain in my hands and feet. If you know, kicking a ball out my feet, and I want to punch someone, I used to end up getting fights all the time. I was
isn't that down to like sort of you're in pain, you got a problem, and you felt like you've got a disability and no one was understanding it? Was it more like that?
Yeah, it's probably probably a lot. Yeah, I mean, I go to you go to the doctor. Oh, yeah, my feet hurt, and you go, oh, it's probably because of football. No, it's not because of well, it is because of football and being out in whatever sport I was playing. If it's long jump, if it's hockey, it's just the cold weather. Just being out in the cold. If I went for a walk, you had to go. I know, go for a walk with. You do your crossing the road and all that stuff with the school, don't you? To learn the Green Cross, was it called the Green Cross Code? To learn how to
Green
cross the road.
Cross Code, yeah.
Even doing things like that, my hands would be freezing my feet, pains in my
So,
ankles.
so didn't you have a little bit of a scare that you had sickle cell anemia, or?
That's what I thought I had. Yeah, I said to the doctor when I was up there as well, I think I've got sickle cell. I need to go to Mayo Clinic. He goes, well, now we can do the test here. Well, as far as I know, looking on research, they've done it at Mayo Clinic, but apparently they do it at doctors now. They can check at doctors. They've got the right, it's only a blood test or something.
Because the cells are like they're not round, are they? They're like oval, and
I thought it was a possibility, being a Caucasian and my ethnic background. I thought it was a possibility. That's
and that gives people a lot of pain. That the fact is the cells can't flow freely.
Yeah,
Like round cells, they can all move along the arteries and they move along. Where sickle cell is, they're oval, so they all bump into each other and then it gets blocked up and then causes the pain.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever I've got is exactly what you're saying on a tin to a T. Because when in the winter, my hands go, and my head, I'm getting really angry. Even when I'm at the bus stop, I was on punch the window. I haven't done it, but that's what I want to do.
Perhaps you've been misdiagnosed. It might be worth going to Harley Street. Maybe chatting your doctor up and say, "Can I go and see and get a second opinion at Harley Street?" Because you might be suffering with sickle cell.
I went to physio the other day, and my back's going. That's exactly the same. Sickle cell, you get sciatica. Bad stomach, I've got IBS, because if you get cold hands, you get IBS. You can't go to the toilet, constipated because of cold hands.
So what is Raynaud's then?
But secondary Raynaud's, it's a similar sort of thing. It's a similar. I think it's a mild form, but I've got secondary, like the highest form you can get of Raynaud's. But it's almost
deformed blood cells.
It's pretty much my hands are like if you go in, put your hands in ice and put your hands on a hot fire, and you get like really bad. I don't know if you get cold hands like me or not.
Well, I've seen Professor. I've seen your hands.
Purple.
And I've seen it when they're purple. Yeah, I've been around you when you've got that.
If I'm 6'2" man, I've got hands like my 15-year-old boy's got his hands like double the size of mine. I've got like little girl's fingers.
But doesn't it get worse when you're standing up? Say like you're walking a bit, and then the pressure comes on. So you've probably got spinal injuries then.
Yeah, I've got spinal injuries, but that's all part and parcel of what I've had since a kid, though. They go, no, it's because you've done groundwork. I said, no, but I've had the pain in my back. I remember playing football from like the age of 5 and 6 in my garden. I used to get back pains, and they're like, no, you're too young. No, but it's because of Raynaud's. I've had these. It's hard. It's hard to understand for anyone like your parents. If you tell your parents you've got bad back, you're a young kid. They're like, well, you're young, you shouldn't get these pains already. But I've had it.
I can relate to any form of suffering for back pain. I mean, I've got. One night, I was in bed and my disc. It didn't just slip. It burst open. It burst open. Literally. I mean, imagine like you got your vertebrae and you got your disc, and your disc is like a sack of like really very very strong set jelly. So when people have a disc that slips, this like disc it slips out from the vertebrae and touches the nerves, which you get sciatica. But mine didn't just slip out; it just literally burst open. I was in bed and it happened, and my neighbour, which was 4 doors down, heard me screaming in pain, and I spent I would say 2 years of my life working with wheelchairs. So it took me 6 months to get out of the wheelchair because I was in bed. People were turning me over to go to the toilet, which is horrible. So it was 6 months to get out of bed onto the wheelchair, and then 6 months trying to get out of the bed onto crutches, 6 months trying to use crutches and walk again,
Yeah.
and then the other 6 months was off the crutches, because I'm nearly walking properly. And
Yeah.
then another, so it's about 2.5 years of not being able to walk properly. But every day, I get suffered with back problem.
Yeah.
And I can say when we was over the Jimmy Mack Centre, we had a gym there.
Yeah.
So I really used to exercise, but I'd feel my back. So I would say throughout the whole day, I'd do about 250 sit-ups,
Yeah.
250 burpees. It was like a circuit I used to do, but it made my back feel better, because if you're just sitting around doing nothing,
Yeah. You
the
ever got my
back pain, it can be really horrible. So I can relate to what you're going through.
do a few
A
floor
lot in
exercises.
common.
I'm sitting here most of the day if I'm studying or doing my news or doing my artwork. I'm sitting down most days. I have to do a few floor exercises, still. But,
Should we have some shout outs to the people that have meant a lot to us in our lives? Well, we always do it.
go on, mate. Go on, you
So I would say a massive shout out to the Resolve crew, and a massive shout out to one person that I really liked, and she doesn't work for Resolve anymore. Her name was Julie. She was the one that what's the word for it? Took all the questions and signed me in, because I was on the street for a long time. So I was Julie was the first person I saw when I went into Resolve, and she was lovely. They let her go, and she done a lot. She done a lot for Resolve.
Yeah.
Poor thing used to be in there in the evening, and when the lads come in at night, they'd all be fighting because they'd been drinking, and she used to see these guys going crazy. So a big shout out to Julie for holding it together when others could have really just walked out of there and run away. And a big shout out to Sarah, the manager, and a big shout out to, if anyone's listening and anybody does see this video, a big shout out to Bob's family. Bob was a volunteer. He was 70 odd years old. He was a sports writer for The Sun. And there was another, I can't remember her name. I think her name was, might have been, I think it was Janet. And she was 80 odd. The two of those used to travel in wind and rain, getting on the bus and going to Resolve. And then at night, when their volunteering work was over, they would go out at 10 o'clock at night when the shutters lifted up and they went out and they had to go home in freezing cold weather. And I used to say to look, have a scarf. Here's a scarf. No, I'm fine. I've never had a man tell me what to do. But 80 odd years old, bless her. A big shout out to her. It was Janet. I think her name was Janet, but Bob definitely. And to any of the volunteers that helped at Resolve, any yourself, look at that. A big shout out to the professor who spent a lot of time burning the bacon in the mornings, setting the fire alarms off.
I learned trick or trade though, didn't I? I've done about 18 bacons on one tray on the hob. But that's what I call on fire though, doing too many at once.
Well, I have to say you was running late. You got there a bit late, and I remember sort of, you're talking to all of us boys, and then you didn't realise, because we was distracting you. You didn't realise I could see all the smoke building up, and I thought, what's all that? And didn't think anything of it. Then all of a sudden, the fire brigade was there.
The first few days I got away with cooking the bacon on the tray. That's what it was. It weren't.
Hello, you've gone. I've lost you. Bit of break.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I was saying, I mean, the first few days I was getting away with cooking that bacon on the tray. I was cooking like 18 pieces of bacon on the tray at once. And it's the third day I tried it, and it started burning the tray and smoke was coming off the tray. So, it's a bit of a, learning curve, but it's a good learning curve because, I probably taught a few people it's easier to cook. Because you have a hot plate, didn't you, in a cafe?
Yeah. And a big shout out to Irish Mary. Irish Mary used to get there about 2 or 3 days in the week. Every day she would turn up. She would cook the food, give us a cooked breakfast, clean up after her. and we'd all be cleaning up and putting everything away.
I remember
Big shout out.
Julie, Sarah, obviously Sue was right. Sue worked there for a little while. I mean, good shout out to her because her daughter has got diabetes. She used to give up her time and do like a day a week to start off with.
Yeah.
And obviously, she's looking after her mum and dad. She does a lot for her family, which is, that's what everyone should, shouldn't they? Everyone should be brought up from good stock. That's what I like to say. People look after your homegrown.
And a big shout out to Tracy as well, who used to do the nights. I mean, she couldn't do it when we went into lockdown, but she was there every night at Queensway. And then she went over, when we moved, we went over to Hordens, which was like a housing estate, and she used to turn up every night. So a big shout out to Tracy, and a big shout out to Clive as well. Clive, who was one of the trustees of the charity. Big shout out to him. I used to play table tennis with him every day.
Who's the old boy? Like the manager, the skinny one, the oldest guy. I can't remember his name was.
Sorry?
Who was the old bald manager guy, the old guy? I can't remember what his name was.
Manager?
Yeah, he's the manager, Dean, minute.
Oh, Dean, no, Dean retired. Not retired, but he had to have some time off.
Yeah,
so before we went into lockdown, about a month before we went into lockdown, 2 months before we went into lockdown, he'd finished due to whatever issues he was going through. But I won't mention anything because I don't think it's fair talking about him. But he finished about 2 months before we went into lockdown. Sarah gave up her time. Who else? Oh, big shout out to Kieran. Kieran, who's a good lad that bought us all gym equipment in.
He's nice, Kieran,
there was
he's nice, isn't he, Kieran?
Kieran, yeah, he's brilliant. And another one who was there, I can't remember her name, but she's got like a dog grooming company. And she gave up her business because she weren't allowed to work in that industry, so she came and volunteered. I can't remember her name, but big shout out to her. That's it, really. That's all the shout outs.
I want to give a quick shout out. I want to give a shout out for everyone that helped me to where I am today. Like, even from my youth of learning to grow in the wisdom that I have today, all through my athleticism. Throughout school, I could have been as I am now. I'm very got a lot of wisdom through further reading, educating myself from my older age. Thank the Lord that I've sat here and studied adult education and got myself in university. Wish I'd done it as a kid, but thank you to all the schools that I went to. Welsh School, Church of England School. That's what's kept me maintained within church and my religion. I think that, whatever religion or whatever religion you study, it keeps you grounded and ready for the task ahead of education. Absolutely. If you're studying law, if you're studying politics, if you're studying physics or science or whatever, church, studying the foundations of education with church is the best way to go. Whatever your religion, if you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, ethos is a word in my. I've got no hatred between everyone. We share the same bread, shed the same blood, and all my school was Canal. I was great at football at Canal. Colbane's, again, my athleticism took off there. I've done rugby, hockey, basketball, 800 meters, 1500 meters, 100 meters. High school, Colbane, a secondary school, and then I've done adult college, nutrition and gym instructors courses, computer courses. Hatfield, I've done a secondary. You got girl paid?
No.
Hatfield, I've done ECDL, European Computer Driver's License, which is computers again, and I've done did I do business administration? I think so. And I've done business administration when I got back into Essex, where I am now, and got myself a university. But I just want to say thank you for everyone, and Open Heaven Church as well. That was one eye opener there. Found me back on my feet to where I belong. Etiquette in style, professional and pragmatic in sense, which is intelligent, and that's all to do with my, keeping myself grounded and maintaining the reading and studying and media studies, learning all these new platforms that we're on today. This is really, really good. This platform, I'm happy with this. Are you, Ed? You happy with this?
It's a good one. We're in private chat or stream chat.
We're in a stream. This should go out to. I'm hoping this will go out on the YouTube after like 5 minutes once we come off. But once you pay for the thing, it'll go, straight to the live feed, and everyone could be watching it at the same time, same as Facebook. But we've got to pay the fee. It's only $15. It's worth $15. Is something like, I don't know what it is. About £11, is it? $15.
Like that. And also a big shout out to anybody that donated to the charities. I mean, we had loads of people donating to Resolve, but there was one woman that had a hairdresser's in Birchwood. She donated, I think, about £5,000. It's amazing. A lot of money comes from like lottery funding, government, etc. These charities, but people that donate off their own backs.
I've got
amazing.
I've got shout out, so obviously, because somewhat, obviously the CCTV thing that I'm not doing now, but in weeks to come, when we do our next episode, I've got CCTV because they put me up and got me out of when I was in disparity of my life. They got me out of trouble, took me to Hertfordshire, and that's how I met Aidan. So I always give them a shout out. And I've got a company called Relax, which they got me this equipment what I'm using today. Without this equipment, I won't be able to talk to Aid through my monitor, this is phenomenal. I don't need to use no speakers. It's all come from the screen. So I always give them a shout out as well in future months. And hopefully we can build up more people that want to help us to support different communities. We can
Absolutely.
be like, me and Aid can work like a citizens advice. People, people with any kind of problems, relationship problems, but any kind of mental health breakdowns, money problems, point you in the right direction, or try and support you in the right direction at least. If you've got new aspirations you want to gain in life, we can also try and point you in the right direction. If you're suffering alcohol abuse, narcotic abuse, we can point you in the right direction for adult learning. Different government companies that can help you and support you, because we've both been there. We've both been getting support and helping us better.
That's kind of odd you've touched on that, because I was on Facebook the other day, and there was a site which I'm a member of, but I do check the posts. It's about Hatfield, our Hatfield, but there was a post on there, and it was a woman that had made this post up that said it was about people that women that are getting beaten basically by their partners or husbands or whoever is doing the beating. So what they done is they put this thing on. It said, if you are in trouble, just message here or PM the person and just put eyeliner. Is the eyeliner still for sale? Or mascara? Is the mascara still for sale? And that was the warning sign that come out. Then whoever got the message would alert the police that this woman's getting, she's getting abused. So that's a good thing. Simple things like that is really good.
90%.
What do you reckon about that one?
I was just about to say 9% of relationships end up with domestic. If it's just domestic abuse, just verbal, if it's just verbal abuse, 9% of relationships. And if it's the man or the woman, sometimes the man don't open up of the woman causing the first accusation, and the man then lays a finger on, and then the man's in the limelight for being in trouble because she's called the police up. Beforehand, she might have punched him 100 times in the face, and then the last time the man's been provoked, and then because the man didn't call the police and make action against her the first 100 times, he's now in the limelight for domestic violence. So you need, even men, you need to open up. If you're getting beaten by your missus for not coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, she's thinking with another woman, you need to also open up and come forward. So it's not just women. It's not just women in the frame light all the time. It is men as well. But you need to open up and come forward. We can support.
It's a bigger percentage with men than it is with bigger percentage with women than it is with men. But the thing that I was saying about is, there was pictures of women with black eyes and stuff like that. and then they just they don't do anything about it. But this system was really good. It's a very good way of supporting someone because they don't expect the door to knock, and they open it up, and there's the boys in blue, and then they don't like no one getting involved. He doesn't like no one getting involved in his business where he's beating her up. So that's a total shock that he's opened the door
In
or
English,
she's opened the door. The police have turned up. He's then got to explain it because
not good
there's
as
it's church. When there's two people, it's just between two people. But when it's three, it's known as the triangle. It's known as
yeah,
church. You got one person, two person, three person. It's church.
yeah,
It then becomes people have gone into that person's business. They've
yeah,
known about it. That man's shocked, and then it stops.
yeah,
Whether the woman then is taken into a refuge, but
yeah,
that then saves her. So if she's getting beaten up, how far is she going to get damaged? A
yeah,
black eye, a
yeah,
broken nose, a
yeah,
knife in the stomach. Or it's
yeah.
amazing because
Friends need to
then
support.
she knows help's coming. It's like she can get her phone and then she can text that thing to that app or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden that
Again,
person notifies the police. Bang, they're there because
trouble,
no woman should be getting beaten up. No woman.
trouble,
Yeah,
trouble. A lot of these girls go to their mates thinking that they won't say that. And a lot of the time they don't say something. They need to open up, like you're saying. And a friend
yeah.
needs to tell the police or tell someone that will support their friend because it
Well,
could happen.
it applies to male or female. There are men that have been putting in shelters because
Yeah,
they're getting out of a
yeah,
violent relationship. Because some men, some women, they can really, if they feel like they're being cheated, even though the bloke isn't cheating on her, they start doing all sorts. I've been there. It's not nice being accused of something that you're not doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Trust issues usually comes where where I always find trust issues come when they got guilty. They got a guilty conscience, and that's what happens. They're doing
Exactly,
doing
exactly. And
something.
if you trust each other implicitly, then
Yeah,
there should be no need for sort of
yeah.
any insecurities because
I've, in my
in a
life,
relationship, in a relationship, you should have no insecurities, and if you've got them, you need to talk about them.
I've never ever had insecurity. I'm that secure, man. If you either like me or don't, you got with me because you like me. Well, in that case, I must be good looking enough in the first place. So I've got no insecurities. The only time you get insecurities is when you mix, like, I think it's alcohol and narcotics that make you feel insecure about yourself. That's what I think.
No, I'm talking about if you're insecure about the woman you're with and you think they're cheating, you
Yeah,
think
yeah. But a
they're
lot of these,
going out.
it's the paranoia, it's the drugs that are making them thinking they're doing this. I think because I've never been a paranoid person in my life. I don't
So
think.
you've never been a jealous. You've
No.
never been jealous about another woman, your woman.
My ex-wife will tell you. I mean, what we was out when we first got together. Some bloke put his arm around her. He goes, "Do you mind if I kiss her?" I said, "Nah, that's my sister." That's the sort of bloke I'm. I'm not a jealous person. I'm not a jealous person.
I mean,
You
every
know,
human be- every human being suffers the same feelings.
mm,
It's only a feeling. Jealousy is only an insecurity.
yeah,
Um, I mean, there's times that I've had my suspicions, and it was true in the end. But I'm
yeah,
not the sort of guy to sort of run up to her and punch her in the face because
no,
if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. It's like time to move on. There's no place for beating someone up because you're insecure about them. But again, that app is good.
yeah,
They can then that's the support. That's the support that people need, knowing that someone's there. It's like a warning signal, right? I type this message,
yeah,
and whether it's the police are notified or some badasses,
yeah, yeah,
there might be the badass club where 6 or 7 guys turn up and
yeah,
give
yeah,
him a sort, the old ways,
yeah,
give him a good sorting out, and perhaps he won't do it again. But
yeah,
then
yeah.
again, why stay with someone that's beating you up?
I'm probably enough to give anyone insecurity. If I, when I used to go out, if I went out, I would come back for like 3 days. I'd cut the bender. I used to be a nightmare when I was younger, but I've grown up now. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. See, there you go. You've hit the nail on the head. You used to do it, so that's what I'm saying. The youngsters are doing it. The youngsters are doing the same thing. So we can't stop them doing what we were doing back then. We used to go on benders. I used to go away to motorcycle rallies, and I'd be away for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And we're talking almost every other weekend.
Oh,
So
mate,
she's left at home. She must be thinking, what's he doing? But I used to tell her there were topless women on stage, and I used to look at it. You don't look at other women, do you? I said, well, no, the music's on. You're waiting for bands to come on, and then these exotic women on stage.
I went to
She said to me, well, why don't you go away when that comes on? Well, I say I've got 3,000 people this side of me, 3,000 people this side of me, 2,000 or 3,000 in front of me, and 3,000 behind me. How can I get through that? I'd rather stay still and wait till the next band comes on.
I've been in a strip club once. I told her she didn't like it much, but she went and told all my mates' girlfriends that they were there as well. They got loads of shit. She had to go back and tell them. So I went back and told her. I said, well, we was in a strip club. She said, what, you did endure? Look, I said, no, not really. I said, one of them had stretch marks right next to her. What
time are the shops open? Are they allowed to stay open now, or are they restricted?
You can go and find out, man. You might be lucky to catch one. You better go.
I don't know. It's getting there. I think I'm going to toodle off, my brother, because
I'll
probably walk up there and it's shut. At least I'll get a walk out anyway.
This is the application, mate, for the future, isn't it? We'll have speak about this tomorrow, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's saved, let's hope it's saved and it's good and it does the job, and then we can.
I'm looking at it once you've got it, then I'll send it to you.
All right, my brother. We'll leave it there then, yeah.
Yeah. We'll come back on. I'll ring you tomorrow and we'll talk about the getting it, because if it goes, once we pay for it, it'll go live on YouTube and Facebook.
Brilliant.
All right, mate.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, see you soon, mate.
Bye-bye.
Oh.